What do you do when you're looking for a subject for your journal? Well, today I decided to go down to the beach. I'm looking for things I can find there. Anything on the beach that might be an interesting subject to paint. So come down with me. I'm going to go down, take the dogs for a walk, and see if I can pick up something on the beach that's going to be good for our journal painting today. So here we are down at the beach. A beautiful morning, getting the dogs out for a bit of a run, and while they give me a break for a few seconds, I'm going to try to find something on the beach I can take back to the studio and paint. But isn't this a stunning sight, and I really am so privileged to be able to spend some time each day on the beach and have a look for little treasures. And here's something here, an urchin shell that's definitely coming back with me. And we'll look for a few other things. I mean, look at this, a real treasure trove. Here's an old cockle shell that can come along as well. And we'll see if we can pick out a few others. These different shells. Some nice colors on that one. Good old periwinkle. And this, I'll have to look up the names of these shells if I can. But let's have a look at our bag of beach finds. All of these beautiful colors, they look incredibly complicated to paint, but try and simplify and I'm sure we can get something. Plenty to create with here. This oyster shell looks like, if I put an eye on there, it looks like some sort of fish. I've seen better days. Beautiful colors on those periwinkles. So there we have it. So today I'm going to use the Venezia journal. It's actually a very attractive journal, nice hardcover, and I've used most of it, a few pages left. It's got 200-gram paper and it's quite smooth, although cold press, it's not too rough, so you can write in it, and it's fine for wet media as well, not too excessive, so perfect for journaling, and it should be fine for painting some of these seashells that we've picked up. I'm going to use my little watercolor set, little travel set, which is very handy and perfect for journaling where you don't need too many colors. This is a Mungyo set. Alright, so we're all ready to go. And all you need, of course, is your pencil, do a bit of sketching, and some clean water. And a couple of brushes. I use some synthetic brushes, and in my previous pen and watercolor wash videos, I go through those items in a bit more detail. So just go back and have a look at those if you want to study the materials for journaling in a bit more detail. But for this, it's simply a little sketch, and one of the attractions is to try to get a sort of an accurate sketch, but obviously nothing photorealistic. It's still a watercolor painting, but it's quite fun to see if you can get a good representation of a natural object like this shell. So starting off with a greenish yellow. And as you can see, my palette or mixing trays are nice and messy, and I basically leave them that way. Mostly sort of cool colors at the top there, and then more warm, earthy colors at the bottom mixing tray. And somehow we'll find our way by getting these sort of slightly desaturated colors, getting that sort of a striped effect, as you can obviously see from the little shell, and keeping the edges fairly rough. I just want it to be a fun little painting and not take it too seriously. It's not for a textbook, but for my own interest and pleasure, just to see if I can get a good likeness of the object. And it's also a little exercise in color mixing, just trying to spot some of the more subtle colors perhaps in your subject and getting those down in a fairly quick fashion as well. We don't want to labor this, and it's simply more of an illustration than a complex painting of many layers. Having said that, layering your colors is still important, but working thin with watercolor like this makes that quite a pleasure to do as well. These are not very wet washes, as you can tell, so no running water and splashing your watercolors about. This is a bit more controlled, but still I find it extremely relaxing to do. And I just use a bit of ultramarine blue, a little touch of Viridian, I think it is as well, in there, and I will get that dark centerpiece painted, just leaving a little light edge to it, so it, as you can see in the shell, it's got that little white rippled edge around that centerpiece. A little more shading along the lower edges of the shell and lighter towards the top, and this will hopefully give it more of a sense of dimension. And stippling the paint just to get that rippled effect. Beautiful textures. All I can do is try to suggest them, and we'll get, I think, a good representation. Having said all of that, as I keep stressing, this type of painting is what I do personally for relaxation. And I'll be sitting at my desk, sometimes listening to an audiobook or a video playing in the background, or maybe just the birds outside, and you can probably hear some in the background as they twitter away while I paint away. And quite a nice way to spend half an hour of your time in the evening perhaps. And all time spent painting is not wasted, in my opinion. Much better than sitting watching TV, I think. Take up journaling, cancel your TV subscription, and you'll never look back. All right, well, you can give that a try. I did that years ago, and we made that decision, and it was one of our better decisions. So now I want to get a little bit of a shadow around the edges, also just to bring out the shape, give it a bit more of a three-dimensional look. The lighting is, of course, my studio lights coming from the top down, so it's not really a strong cast shadow. And a little darker lost and found edge, so I will vary the edge thickness, and just to give some shape to the shell, and a bit more strength to the painting. It's not often you see me painting with little brushes like this, and so also something that is a nice little break for me from bigger brushwork and looser oil painting. Well, I think that is pretty much where I can leave this, but I want to actually get a Google lens here and get to see what is the correct name for this shell. And it looks like just a common sea urchin, a green sea urchin. Well, not so common to me, of course. I've immortalized it in my own little painting. As the paint has settled a little, I can bring a touch of burnt sienna in there just to add some texture, but also to offset some of the green. So try this out, go out for a walk perhaps, whatever is in your area. It could be some autumn leaves or some other interesting objects that you find along the way, acorns maybe, or if you're near a beach, I'm sure you will find something very quickly. And it gives you a little more of an appreciation for objects you may just normally walk by and don't notice. But putting them in your little journal painting is a great way to record the lost and found objects in your own world. And we'll make a note here. Green sea urchin. Well, I really enjoyed that outing and getting things that I can take back to the studio and paint them. I find these little sketches incredibly compelling and very relaxing as well. In this case, it's a nice change from painting a landscape, for example, and getting an accurate painting. Not a photographic version of the object, but still obviously a watercolor, but it's recognizable, and I find that quite interesting as well. A little change from my usual style of painting. And this, of course, is one of the beauties of keeping a journal. Just keeping ideas going in your mind, keeping it fresh, and always finding an outlet for your creativity that keeps you coming back for more. Now, I must mention that I've also painted seashells in my illustrated journaling course as well, and you can find a link for that in the description if you're interested. But I'm going to see if I can do more of these videos for you and paint a few more lost objects that I find on the beach. Okay, well, if you want to see more videos like that, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Share this video as well with your friends. Get as many people joining you and painting. And finally, a free course for you up here in the link. So check that out if you want to explore more painting inspiration. Until next time, happy journaling and cheers for now.